Greetings, viewers. This is King Achu from Southern Cameroon and Bazonia. Welcome to my platform. This is a Pan African platform. Please like, share, and subscribe. The conversation that I'm going to have today has to do with the Ambazonian Biafra Conference and the leadership role within Southern Cameroon and Bazonia and how they have affected the trajectory of this revolution. You see, there are three main groups. You could say political groups, you could say sub government groups, whatever you want to call it, that have a lot of influence in how this revolution can go. But the fact is that because there's disunity within these groups, the result that many Southern Cameroonians would have hoped has not been so fruitful. You see, we have AGOC with the ADF under the leadership of Dr. Ayaba. You have the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako and Chris Ano, because the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako is somewhat a co-leadership role. Dr. Samuel Sako doesn't have as much influence over the revolution as compared to Chris Ano. As a matter of fact, Chris Ano has more influence than Dr. Samuel Sako when it comes to the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako. So, in other words, even though he is the face of the interim government, the real power behind the interim government is Chris Ano. But then again, you also have their surrogates from both camps. Unlike the interim government of Sisiko Ayoktabe Julius, where he has a VP who is in control of things since Sisiko Ayoktabe Julius is in prison with the 10 other leaders. But the two particular groups, sub-government or government, whatever you want to call it, that are really making negative impact on this revolution has to do with AGOC, ADF, and interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako. Because these two people, these two groups, these two entities are at each other's throat to display to the people of Southern Cameroon that they are in control. Meanwhile, in reality, both of them are still not really in control of what is happening on ground zero. You see, with AGOC, there are several surrogates that speak for the AGOC. You have Asu Lucas, you have Capo Daniel, Vela Franklin, and what is that other guy's name? Why am I forgetting his name? Anyway, you got those surrogates. And with the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako, you have um, Prince J. Carl, Paul Nilong, Clovis, Caroline, Erico, Akaba, whatever his name is, who are speaking for Dr. Samuel Sako's interim government. These surrogates are always at each other's throat, trying to demonstrate, illustrate to the people that their own team, their own group, their own sub government is better. And the key is for the people of Southern Cameroon to donate money to those two groups so that they could use the money to fight the war which we don't really see results. We see a lot of people dying. We see over 500 villages being destroyed. We see people running helter skelter because of the war. But these two groups have not been able to liberate one county for over 4 years. When this war started, the game or the first um, plan that was set was to disrupt the government of the Republic within southern Cameroon, which it was done successfully by all that were involved. Every party, doesn't matter what group, what um organization, what, so long as you're a southern Cameroonian, you were fighting to make sure that the government of La République de Cameroon cannot control southern Cameroon. Everybody made that plan. Everybody did that. And it happened. To this point, though La République de Cameroon has better weapons, they still don't have control over southern Cameroon, which is why the war continues. But we have to move in stages. We have to move in stages. First, it was to disrupt the entire government of La République de Cameroon within, to make the 14 counties ungovernable. And that has been done. And you can't give credit alone to AGOC or credit alone to the interim government or other groups that were involved. That goes to every southern Cameroonian, that participated during that period. But now we're no longer in that. We will continue to do that, but that is not the main factor. We have to upgrade our strategy so that we can defeat the forces of La Republic within our 14 counties. But for some reason, the leadership of AGOC and the leadership of the interim government with Dr. Samuel Sako seem to be fighting each other to display that they have autonomy over the territory. That this is what is destroying the revolution and the second phase. Because there are many phases that we have to go through in order to have control over our state known as Southern Cameroon, or a state known as Ambazonia. So long as the forces of La Republic Cameroon are inside Southern Cameroon and having some kind of influence in Southern Cameroon, that means we don't have complete control of our nation. And we cannot have complete control of our nation if our leaders, being it from AGOC, being it from the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako, or being it from the interim government of Cisco Ayatabe Julius, are not working together as a team. With such disunity, with such division within the groups, within the leadership of Southern Cameroon, the possibility of making sure that Southern Cameroon is truly liberated will be erased. In other words, many people would have died and we still do not have control. This is the fourth year we're fighting this war, and a lot of money has been raised from both sides. A lot of money from interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako and Chris Ano. A lot of money was raised. But that money was not used intelligently. That money was not used wisely. That money was not used in a way that would help propel the military role of Southern Cameroon to another level. And Dr. Cho Ayaba surrogates may claim that, oh, we bought guns, we bought guns, we bought guns, we have guns, we have guns. These people raised money and ate all the money or did whatever with the money and did not produce guns. But the fact still remains that the group of AGOC or interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako. I'm saying interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako because there are three interim government. If I just say interim government, then there might be a little bit of confusion. But the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako and AGOFC have raised a lot of money in this war, in this revolution, in this war, that should equip each counties, that will be able to equip a lot, all if not all of the county, but most of the county will be able to equip the guys, the military guys in Fako, in Dian, in Kupe, in Manu, in Momo, Menchum, Boyo, Bui, you name it. The money that was raised from either AGOFC or the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako and even the interim government of Sisiko Ayoktabe Julius should have been able to raise enough money that would equip the soldiers, all the soldiers from all counties on ground zero. But if you've noticed, the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako, well, as we know, did whatever they did with their money. Dr. Cho Ayaba bought some guns, but still, it's not enough to liberate even one county. But these two groups are always fighting and saying that, this group is better because this group is doing that. This group is better because we're doing this. We are people for the we're government for the people by the people. But still, you do not listen to the people. You don't listen to the people. With over 3 years of raising money and 4 years of fighting, both leadership failed because they couldn't take the next phase, which was to equip all 14 counties, to involve them in fighting in their counties and eliminating the forces of La République du Cameroon so as to liberate the counties, because this is the next phase that we should be on. We've made Southern Cameroon ungovernable. Now we need to liberate our counties so that the people within those counties can see a pathway to succession, a pathway that is leading to growth. But the people are not seeing that. And many people on ground zero are dying. Many people on ground zero are dying. But you see the surrogates of Dr. Cho Ayaba, Asuka Lucas, Capo Daniel, Vela Franklin, who come and say, oh, they will praise their leader, Dr. Cho Ayaba, to the point as if he is a god, as if he's the leader of a communist party, as if he is the only one to liberate Southern Cameroon. But this is a war. The leadership of the people must be represented by all the people in a way. But you are trying to make Dr. Cho Ayaba as the only leader that has the influence, the power, the godlike power to liberate Southern Cameroon. But in wars, there's nothing like godlike power. There's nothing like the only leader that could do it, because you need to create a relationship with all the other leaders to the point where things are being done by everybody involved, not just by one person. Which is why a lot of people are not buying Dr. Cho Ayaba's ideologies. You might say, oh, he's bought guns, but with his actions, he has a big military. With his action, he is not able to liberate even a goddamn village. He's not even able to liberate one county, and we have 14 counties. The same goes to this other interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako and Chris Anum, with all the huge amount of money that they raise and they continue to create more campaigns to raise money. Both sides are creating campaigns to raise money to buy guns in order to liberate the country, the state of the country. But we can't even see. We see people dying. We see over 500 villages being destroyed, being burned down. We see people running away. We see blood everywhere. And the leadership only fighting among themselves to show that they are the one in control. Meanwhile, in reality, they're not in control because many people are dying. They are not, the leadership is not even finding a way to make sure that they can control the action on ground zero so that less people will be affected. They're not doing that. All of them are only finding a way to do things to show that they are in control so that people could support them financially. In a way, this revolution has become a money-making scheme from the AGOC side or the interim government of Dr. Samuel's side or the interim government of the interim government of Sisiko Ayiktabe Julius side. They're all making money. They're only finding ways to make money. They're not bringing up strategy and executing their strategy to create results that people can see that, oh, this is what this person is doing. We have 14 counties. How, instead of them fighting among themselves, why can they not divide the counties and say, you work this side and see how far you can liberate that counties, and you work this side and this other group work this side and see what happens? Because there will be somebody that will execute their own plan so well that they will control their own counties to the point where they're getting involved in other counties. But the leadership on all sides don't think that way. The only ones say they are the leader in control. They are the one in charge. They are the leader for the people. But the people who are dying are not the leaders. The people who are dying are Southern Cameroonians. There are many small military groups on ground zero. One even some of them have actually sent me a message on Facebook showing me their groups. They have guns, but they don't have ammunition. They don't have bullets. They don't have guns. They don't have way to carry on more military actions. But you have these people raising money, saying that they're fighting for the revolution. They're fighting for Southern Cameroon. And you have so many other military groups that started doing their stuff because of the passion as Southern Cameroonians to wanting to liberate their country, not having any support from the so-called leaders, being it AGOC or the interim government of Dr. Samuel Sako or Sisiko Ayiktabe Julius. But as I said, these three groups are only fighting for power. Now, since all the leaders are trying to show that they are in control by coming up with other ideas to display to the people, Dr. Ayaba has come up with actually a great idea. But this great idea depends also on how, the Biafra are determined to liberate themselves. You see, the Ambazonian Biafra alliance could be a good thing, could be a great thing for Southern Cameroon, because what Southern Cameroon need are ways of bringing guns into Southern Cameroon, and the best way to do it is through Nigeria, through Biafra, which share boundary with Southern Cameroon because they have the guns in there. And as a matter of fact, one of the group that sent me, one of the military group, which is in O2 Road, which is a village that shares boundary with Nigeria. They have guns, but they don't have bullets, so they cannot continue fighting. They don't have nobody helping them to sponsor, the fight they're fighting. Those groups in the neighboring villages or neighboring towns to Nigeria, those are points that our leaders need to actually concentrate on, because if they help liberate and control a place like a cock or two closer to a Umojok subdivision, or even in the northwest, the towns and villages that are closer to Nigeria, if we can control those access area by defeating the forces of Republic the Cameroon who are already in those areas and take control over that area, it makes it easier for us to bring the guns, the weapons that we need to continue our fight. But then again, our leaders only want to show that they're in control, they're doing things, but they're not executing certain strategies that are required to make sure that we succeed in winning this war. As I was saying, the Biafra and Amazonian alliance is a good thing. It's a good thing because how determined the Biafra people are to liberate themselves from the Nigerian government will also help us in fighting like Republic Cameroon, so that we can have control over our state. And if when that happens, there's another third party that will possibly come up, which has to do with the Yoruba country, because they're also trying to succeed. They're also trying to succeed of liberate themselves from the Nigerian government and create a country of their own. You see, the Biafran tried before but failed, and they're trying to try it now. And if they do continue with the spirit that they are doing, the possibility of actually regaining their country is there. That way, it will also help to push the Yoruba country to also fight with the situation with the Fulanese who are coming and killing people in Nigeria. Gives them a better, more excuse to say, hey, fuck this shit. Y'all do your shit. We're going to control our own area. We're going to control Biafra. And the Yoruba country will control the Yoruba country. Then that way we'll keep the Fulanese in their own area. And they won't be able to venture into Biafra and the Yoruba country. That's also another strategy. And they depends on how determined they are to want to liberate themselves. And they cannot still use the same strategy that they used in the past, because those strategies failed them. But they could learn from those strategies and build up to liberate Biafra. And when that does happen, the alliance will be beautiful. That way, Amazonia will concentrate and will be able to have guns being brought from Biafra into Amazonia to fight like Republic Cameroon, because our issue is access to guns and bullets. And a way to fund those who are spirited in Amazonia, who want to fight to liberate Amazonia. But the leadership is fucking the whole game up. It doesn't matter if it's Dr. Ayaba or Dr. Samuel Sako. So long as they keep fighting to illustrate that they are in control and not looking at the entire big picture of how to liberate counties. Liberating a county means that you have complete control over a county. That will give you an extra boost to liberate more counties. You see, with over the 4 years that we've been fighting, we've not been able to successfully liberate one county. And if we cannot liberate one county, how are we going to liberate 14 counties? How are we going to be able to liberate Southern Cameroon when our leaders are fighting among the same, trying to show that they are in control of things, meanwhile they really aren't? Southern Cameroonians, we got a long way if we want to gain independence. Know that it's not a very long way. And with the Biafrans, they also have a long way. But with what is happening in the Fulanies, and with the fact that the Yoruba country want to also liberate themselves, it gives them an extra boost to plan well and execute their strategy so as to control the Biafra. And when that happens, hey, their possibility of regaining their nation and controlling this is available. But Dr. Choiba think that he can create an alliance with Biafra, and then a lot of people are talking about this alliance. I think that it will be a game changer. It's not necessarily going to be a game changer if the unity within the people and the unity within the leadership of Southern Cameroon is not there. The lack of leadership, trying to illustrate, trying to show that, oh, Ayaba is the only one, is the main man, is the one that is going to save Southern Cameroon. That's BS. This is war. You want to fight? You must have a team. It's like playing soccer. If your teams are not working as a team, if your team is not working as a team, because the team here in Southern Cameroon are the leadership of Southern Cameroon. The team here in Southern Cameroon are the leaders of Ambazonia working as a team. And if you can't work as a team, you will not win. As a matter of fact, in the past, the Biafrans were more united and they still lost. So how we who are so disunited among ourselves, how are we going to win a revolution? How are we? That's a question that Southern Cameroon must find out. How are we going to do that? Because people are already losing hope. With the war going in 4 years, not being able to showcase even a one county or two counties that is under our control, absolute control, you can't even find that. So how are we going to win this revolution? We're not going to win. The possibility of us winning this revolution is very slim. Upon that, the international community don't give a damn about our cause, which means that we cannot win this diplomatically. We must win this militarily. Win it militarily and controlling our nation. It doesn't matter if they recognize that we are a state or not, so long as we can control our shit. That is what that matters. But if we can't control it and we cannot win diplomatically, it's fucking for us. This is King H. I'm out.